Hey there, AP World History students. My name is Luis Silva, and today we're looking at Periodization 1, Foundations, which was from the Neolithic Revolution to classical civilizations. You're more than welcome to review all of this information on the previous presentations that I have done. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Do not forget to like this video, and also do not forget to subscribe, because this way we can actually help out more students get ready to successfully pass the AP World History exam. Today I want to begin by asking two questions. First is, why is history divided into eras? And second is, what might historians use to divide history into eras? Very important questions. You're more than welcome to pause this video so that you can answer these questions. Let's move on. Now, let's do an overview of periodization. Periodization is a major era in history. The fall of Rome corresponds to the end of the first major periodization in world history. Basically, foundations covers from about 5000 BCE all the way to 600 CE. Please keep this in mind. Periodization 1, in this case, the Neolithic Revolution. As you can see here, we started talking about the different timelines that have taken place. In this case, we go from hunting, gathering bands, all the way to the growth of villages, beginning about 8000 BCE, and all the way to the rise of cities, beginning at about 3000 BC. The discovery of farming and the domestication of animals beginning about 8000 BCE was a game changer. It basically brought humanity to the point where we are. It was the initial stages of the growth of villages, which eventually led to the rise of cities. Before farming, people were nomadic. They were hunters and gatherers, as you can see at the beginning of this particular timeline. Now let's define Periodization 1, Foundations, which was a time after the discovery of farming when civilizations began to form along the fertile soils of river valleys. Over time, many river valley societies developed into advanced civilizations, which eventually led to the rise of large empires. Finally, some societies developed such important cultural achievements that they became known as classical civilizations because of their achievements and how they impacted other societies and also the modern world. Please keep this in mind as you're moving through the second component, or periodization 2 in this case. We already talked about this. We talked about how civilizations actually came to be and actually became very powerful. But let's look at what were some of the characteristics needed in order to be a civilization. In this case, one of the biggest components had to be advanced cities. And we have Uruk, which had a population of about 50,000 people, which doubled in 2 centuries. We also needed complex institutions. By complex institutions, we mean like formal governments with officials and laws, priests with both religious and political powers, and a rigorous education system for training scribes. We also needed specialized workers, such as merchants, soldiers, priests, potters, scribes, teachers, metal workers, government officials, farmers, and weavers. And we also needed a good system for keeping records. In this case, record keeping was very important for all of the civilizations that we have talked about before. And also, advanced technology. Please make sure that you are aware of that. Now, river flooding, in this case, for all of the civilizations, left behind fertile soil for farming, and farming became extremely important for the development of all of the civilizations that we have talked about before. And today, farming is a fundamental component of all societies around the world. Very important connections. Remember, we use farming today to survive. Previous civilizations also used farming in order to feed people. We have also talked about Mesopotamia. We talked about Egypt. We talked about India. We talked about China. And here you have a map in which you see all of these civilizations. And obviously, we talked about how important they were at that time. And also, we talk about them today because they left legacies that have impacted our modern world. We also talked about, during Periodization 1, Foundations, the rise of empires. We talked about the Persian Empire. As you can see in this map, how the Persians were able to dominate that world at that time. They dominated Northern Africa. They dominated modern day Turkey, Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and even all the way to India, the Indus River Valley area. So make sure that you are familiar how this empire dominated that entire world. Now, empires are bigger. They conquer their neighbors and have complex government to oversee large territories. As you can see here, the area that was dominated by the Persian Empire. Other empires besides Persia that we talked about are Maurya, Gupta in India. We also talked about Han China. These were all empires that dominated the world at certain points during this particular time period. So it's very important for you to understand the development of these empires and how they impacted that world and the legacy that they left even up until today. Now let's continue on with the expansion of empires. And in 336 BC, Alexander the Great became the ruler of Greece. In 331, the Persian army was defeated by Alexander the Great and his troops. In 326 BC, Alexander's last major battles took place in India. In 326 BC, Alexander's troops refused to march any farther east. Remember, they had basically come all the way from the Greek part of the world, and now they had advanced all the way to modern day India, and Alexander's troops were very tired of fighting and obviously winning in this case, because they were able to conquer and defeat so many armies everywhere and had founded an entire empire. And based on the map that we're seeing here, in 323 BC, Alexander the Great dies. Let's move on. And continuing on with Periodization 1, Foundations, Classical Civilizations, you see that we have, first of all, the Greeks at 479 BC. Then we have Rome at 117 AD. We also have Gupta, 415 AD. And we also have Han China, 220 AD. These are classical civilizations that have impacted our modern world. Classical civilizations develop achievements that we still use today. Greece, Rome, Gupta India, as well as Han China have left a legacy that the entire world admires today. And I think will continue to be admired for everything that they did and how they changed the world. Now let's do some predictions for Periodization 2. What will happen in world history during Periodization 2, which covers a period from about 600 all the way to 1450 CE? Please make sure that you think about this, because what happened in previous time periods will definitely have an impact during periodization 2. Let's move on. Number 1, we have the beginning of a new world religion, in this case Islam. You can see to the map here how Islam was able to expand to different parts of the world, including parts of Europe. This means Spain. Let's move on. Number 2, the spread of civilization to new areas of the world. As you can see here from the map, you have different ideologies, different movements of things from different parts of the world. This is very important for us to understand because the legacies that were left by previous civilizations moved and impacted other parts of the world. You're more than welcome to pause this video so that you can carefully analyze this map here. Number 3, the spread of Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, and also the creation of world religions. You can see from the map here, you have 3 different religions. You have Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity. All of those religions were able to spread to different parts of the world. And these religions here dominate our world today. So this is something for us to keep in mind. As you can see there, Christianity, which came from the Middle East or parts of the Middle East, spread to Rome, spread to Europe, spread to Spain. Later on, Spain decided to conquer the New World, the Americas, and they were able to spread Christianity. And also, North American part of the world, you have the United States. In the United States, religion dominates also because many of the initial people that arrived from Europe to the United States, they practice Christianity, and obviously Christianity also impacted the north part of the American continent. Let's move on. Number 4, the formation of a world trade network. As you can see here, you have different lines with different colors. You're more than welcome to pause this video so that you can see how trade brought the world together. And not only brought the world together, it brought ideas from different parts of the world. And this obviously impacted the entire world. You see here that on the northern part of the world, you see how the Vikings were able to move trade all the way to Greenland and other parts of the world. So this is something big to be looking out for as we move through this time period. It's really important for you to understand that trade, religion, cultural diffusion became a dominant force around this time period. Now let's do a definition of periodization 2, which is known as the post-classical era. And it was a time when numerous societies became more connected to each other due to an increase in trade. New trade routes led to cultural diffusion, spread of technology, and helped form major world religions. We have now come to the end of this presentation. Please do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like this video, and also do not forget to share this video so that we can help out more students be successful when they take their AP World History exam and get the highest score possible. I will see you in the next presentation.